To Make Old Friends by Incidental Pegasus number 5. Chapter 1. Another Pony's Memories. Fluttershy awoke, unnerved by the strange dreams she couldn't remember. Most mornings she needed to remind herself that, as comfortable as her clown mattress was, she had responsibilities, and couldn't just sleep as late as she wanted. But today she rose eagerly. The longer she lay there, the more she was going to have to dwell on this uncomfortable feeling. The light of Celestia's sun shone through her window and felt its warm glow on her coat. Fluttershy pushed her doubts to the back of her mind. They were just dreams, after all. She wasn't going to let them ruin her day. Today was going to be the most beautiful day, she was sure about it. She began to make a couple of slices of hay toast for breakfast as she looked out the window of the city. Cloudsdale was a beautiful place to look at, but there were so many other ponies about, made her uncomfortable. She was glad that her house was near the outskirts of town. It was much quieter out here. She liked quiet. As she left her house, she noticed that the male pony had been by, as a letter had been left for her. It looked like it was from Soren. The two had been introduced at one of her parents' parties. While seeing her father hope something would come out of it, her shy nature and his busy schedule with the Wonderbolts ensured that the relationship remained entirely a friendly one. Fluttershy greatly appreciated his friendship, even if it was a long-distance one. She didn't have many friends. She regretted she wouldn't have time to read the letter now, as she wanted to get to work on time, as she went back inside to leave it on her desk. She has a cloud to clear.
Good morning, Cloud Kicker.
Hello, Fluttershy! Another sunny day on the schedule?
Yes, let's go make sure that every pony in Ponyville has a bright, sunny day to enjoy.
She was happy the scheduling today had her working with Cloud Kicker. She knew that many of the other Pegasi on the weather team resented her position. Being in charge of weather detail for a town, even an unremarkable one like Ponyville, was a prestigious position and usually went to somebody more experienced. Well, there were exceptions. Spitfire had held a position in Hoofington before she was discovered by the Wonderbolts. They were generally made for ponies with incredible flying skills. Fluttershy had never seemed any better than average. There were whispers that her job was the result of her father pulling some strings. The thing about rumors is that, every so often, they turned out to be more or less true. She hadn't been happy when they told her about the great opportunity he was able to set up for her. And it was a great opportunity, she had to admit, but Fluttershy wanted to succeed on her own abilities. She wanted to be her own pony, not just Guiltwing's daughter. At the same time, it seemed so important to him that she couldn't bring herself to say no. She just told him she didn't want to do it again, and that was alright with him. Cloudkicker wasn't like some of the others, though. When Fluttershy first started, she had accepted her and didn't care how she got in the job. She was always ready with a cheerful smile, and the two became fast friends. If Fluttershy was asked, she would probably say she considered Cloudkicker to be her best friend. Of course, as the head of the weather team, Fluttershy could have easily made the work schedules say what she ever wanted them to, but she didn't think it would be fair to the other ponies or to Cloudkicker. She didn't want the rest of the team to start resenting her as well. As she and Cloudkicker got to work clearing the sky, Fluttershy found an unease from the morning creeping back into her mind. What bothered her the most was that, although her dreams distressed her, she couldn't remember what they were. They just seemed like they were important. Even if she had confided in some pony, it would be hard to explain what she was bothered by, something she didn't know anything about. She was so distracted she didn't realize that Cloudkicker was talking to her. Fluttershy! Hey, are you okay? Fluttershy nodded. I was just wondering if you could help collect a few of these clouds. My parents asked if my sister could stay with me for a couple of days, and I need an extra mattress. Fluttershy agreed, and two began to push a few of the smaller clouds towards a bigger one. As the yellow pegasus flew up to grab another, she glanced downward and lowered her cloud. There was something about the way the cloud looked to her familiar. She couldn't put her hoof on it, but something about its shape. Fluttershy was overwhelmed as a flood of images poured into her mind. Fluttershy! Fluttershy, wake up! Fluttershy regained consciousness and found herself lying on her back on a cloud. Cloudkicker was kneeling next to her, looking frantic. Groggily, she sat up, her friend aiding her.
What happened?
You were just on a cloud, and all of a sudden you just stopped, the blonde Pegasus said, not sure how else to explain it. You got that strange look on your face. You wouldn't say anything. Then you started flapping your wings, and I wasn't almost able to catch you. First I noticed her friend's grayish-purple coloring was grayer than usual. She raised her forelegs out and wrapped them around the worried pony's frame.
You saved my life. Thank you.
This helped calm Cloudkicker. An expression of panic changed to one of concern. I never seen anything like that. What happened? First I opened her mouth to explain, but stopped when she realized what she wasn't sure how to explain. These visits in her mind felt like memories, but they were memories of things that never happened. Things that never could have happened. How could she be dreaming of things that didn't happen? She knew there had to be an explanation, even if she had no idea what it could be. Searching her new memories, if memories were even what they were, for anything that might serve as a clue, she realized that the same 5 mares kept showing up. 4 of them were complete strangers to her, but the 5th was an old foal friend of hers, Rainbow Dash. They drifted apart as they grew older. She hadn't seen her in a few years, but there was no mistaking any other pony for Rainbow Dash. Since Dash was a real pony, first I thought that meant the others were probably real too. If she could find them, maybe she could realize what was going on. She realized that while she'd been working things out, her friend was still waiting expectantly.
I'm sorry. I don't really understand myself.
She explained as best she could about the not memories.
In them, I'm still Fluttershy, but a different Fluttershy, if that makes sense. Whatever they are, they stopped now. I want to find out more about them, but I feel fine.
That wasn't entirely true. Physically, she felt fine, but what really troubled her was this feeling she couldn't shake, that the fake flashes were somehow right. The memories she's so sure of were wrong. What's worse, Cloudkicker barely appeared to him at all. She couldn't bear to tell her best friend that. Is there anything I could do to help? First I thought for a moment.
Do you remember Rainbow Dash from flight school?
Fortunately, Cloudkicker knew where Rainbow Dash worked now, so Fluttershy found herself headed back to Cloudsdale. Cloudkicker insisted on accompanying her. First I tried to talk to her out of it.
You really don't have to. I wouldn't want you to get into trouble. The clouds aren't...
Oh, don't worry about the clouds. We don't have anything complicated like a storm today. I can make sure those when we're done with. Besides, what's important is making sure whatever happened this morning doesn't happen when no ponies are around to catch you.
Well, if you're sure it's all right.
The trip itself was uneventful. The 2 ponies spent most of the time making small talk, trying to keep their minds off of the strange incident that led to this point. When they nearly arrived, however, Cloudkicker asked, So why Rainbow Dash? First I tried to figure out what her friend meant by that. She hoped the question didn't have the unasked implication, why not me? But she couldn't be sure. She had to answer carefully. She didn't want to hurt Cloudkicker's pony feelings.
Some of the ponies I saw were ones I never met. Rainbow Dash there was an adult when I've never seen her as one. They're the most out of place, so I thought if I met them, I could find some answers.
This seemed to solve the problem, as Cloudkicker agreed that made sense. She didn't appear to be upset. Fluttershy was relieved. Soon, they landed outside the warehouse of the Equestrian Express Delivery Company in Cloudsdale. A blue-maned yellow pegasus mare was standing out front door carrying a clipboard. Though visibly annoyed at the mention of Rainbow Dash's name, she directed him to the loading docks at the back. There, a team of pegasi were loading a pallet of boxes onto the back of a van. Amongst them, a blue mare with a familiar chromatic mane. For the first time in years, Fluttershy laid her eyes on her friend, old Rainbow Dash. Fluttershy was heading back to her college after meeting Twilight for lunch when she heard a whistling sound overhead. In front of her, a familiar sky blue pegasus landed. Hey, Fluttershy!
Oh, Rainbow Dash, you startled me.
Rainbow Dash chuckled sheepishly. Sorry about that.
It's all right. So, how was your day with the Wonderbolts?
It had been a few days since the Best Young Flyers competition, and Dash had gotten a chance to enjoy her prize. Totally awesome! I got a chance to show them some of my moves. I think Spitfire really liked them. This could be my big chance to join them.
Really? I'm so happy for you.
Thanks, but that's not why I wanted to look for you. I wanted to thank you for all your help, cheer me on and everything. Even though, she continued, embarrassed, I was a bit rough on you. Maybe more than a bit. She placed a hoof on Fluttershy's shoulder. You stood by me. That means a lot. Fluttershy smiled.
Of course, Rainbow. I love watching you fly, and I was glad I was able to help. You don't have to apologize. I know you were under a lot of stress.
Thanks, Fluttershy. Fluttershy paused. What had just happened? The memories of other Fluttershy. As this is what now she decided to think of them, at least until she knew more about what was going on, appeared to have gotten a little clearer, at least where Rainbow Dash was concerned. Cloudkicker must have thought her inaction was nervousness, as he floated over to where the mover Pegasi were working and talking to Dash. gesturing to where Fluttershy was standing. After a few moments, her fallen friend headed over towards her. She started to panic. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. What was he supposed to say?
Hello, Rainbow Dash. I know we haven't seen you in years, but I was just wondering if you've been hallucinating that we've been hanging out with a bunch of complete strangers.
She wanted to run away, at least try to dig into the clouds and hide there. She knew that wouldn't be possible, though. There was only one way she could figure out what was going on. At any rate, Rainbow Dash had seen her and was already on her way over. Even if she was half as determined and half as fast as when they were younger, Fluttershy knew that Rainbow would have no trouble going after or catching her. That only made the inevitable conversation more awkward. By the time her old friend had arrived, Fluttershy's nerves had her trembling like a leaf. She tried to speak, but was only able to express herself in high-pitched squeaky noises. Eventually, the other Pegasus grew tired of waiting.
CK,
You wanted me to ask about something? The timid Pegasus was drawn from the cloud floor to her conversation partner. Seeing her up close for the first time, Fluttershy noticed he was somewhat different than she expected. Rainbow Dash's other Fluttershy knew was built for speed. She could tell. Even though sparse in spotting memories that the silent Pegasus had, clearly put a lot of time and effort into shaping her body into peak physical condition necessary for aerial racing and the stunt performances. However, the pony before her didn't look like that at all. She looked, as if such a word could be used about someone whose mane shone with all the colors of a rainbow, ordinary. But not any means out of shape, but not an athlete's build either. She looked just like every pony else. So, can I help you? Lost in her reflections, Fluttershy looked at Dash, but neglected to respond to her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, Rainbow Dash.
After a pause, she could see that something more was needed, so she continued.
Well, I was just thinking about you in flight camp, and I was wondering how you were doing.
She trailed off a moment before picking up again.
So I thought I'd come see you, see how you're doing. How are you doing?
She could tell from Dash's expression that such a general question of well-being from an old friend was not exactly what she had been expecting. First, I wished she knew what Cloudkicker said to her. I'm doing okay. Great, really. I've been working here since flight school. What about you?
I'm alright. I'm working as part of the weather team for Ponyville. I'm actually in charge of the team.
Fluttershy offered the last bit of information, as she was admitting to a horribly embarrassing secret rather than sharing an accomplishment. You have your own weather team? That's great! Congratulations! Rainbow Dash said wistfully. I knew you'd be a strong flyer someday.
Well, that isn't really.
Fluttershy stammered.
I mean, I'm not.
Daddy, huh? Dash responded with a knowing look.
Yeah.
You said what? Rainbow Dash began, but a gruff voice cut her off. Hey, Rainbow Dash! You gonna be joining us today or not? Patooey! The speaker was a large brown stallion wearing a black ball cap. Behind him, the mover ponies fizzed loading out the van. Every pony looked annoyed except for Cloudkicker, who looked uncomfortable. The Great Pegasus mare, who was happily eating a muffin, completely unconcerned about the mood surrounding her. Hi, Ditzy!
Hi!
Fluttershy heard muttering against the group. They were looking too far away to make out what they were saying. Looks like you gotta go.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you into trouble.
Don't worry about it. I don't really care. It was great seeing you again, Fluttershy. We should hang out sometime. She added politely. Fluttershy was concerned with her old friend's boss being angry at her. She almost didn't realize she hadn't actually had the chance to talk to her about the real reason she had come. She was still nervous, but there wasn't anything to do but to go back and try to ask if she could.
Rainbow Dash, wait.
The air mare looked at her. She spoke in that whisper.
Have you felt anything strange lately? Like the way things aren't supposed to be? Is that everything's supposed to be different?
Rainbow's curious expression turned to ice. No, I'm sorry. I have work to do. Bye, Fluttershy. With that, she turned and flew back to where her co-workers were waiting. Fluttershy, defeated, turned and flew away. You alright? How did it go? It hadn't taken long for Cloudkicker to catch up. They headed to Fluttershy's house, where she described her conversation with Rainbow Dash to her friend while preparing some tea.
I'm not closer to understanding what happened this morning, and now she's mad at me. I think we get the chance to ask her some other ponies.
I could go later.
No, thank you.
Fluttershy sighed.
I think going back would only make things worse.
She gathered up all resolve.
If I want to figure this out somehow, I'm going to have to find the others myself.
Cloudkicker looked concerned. You sure that's a good idea? What if you...
It's alright. Nearest Pegasi, so I won't have to fly anywhere to find them. They're probably in Ponyville.
Ponyville, you think so? The thistle-colored Pegasus brightened. Maybe I know. You know what it's supposed to look like? Fluttershy tried to picture the mysterious ponies in her head. She started by describing what she could remember about a purple unicorn. but her friend couldn't recall any pony like that. The bouncing pink earth pony, too, did not sound familiar to her. Cloudkicker knew several white unicorns, but this one was described as a mare of style and elegance. She had to admit that none of them sounded like that. Finally, she knew of a tan-coated blonde earth pony named Apple Cobbler, but she didn't know any orange ones.
So I guess you don't live in Ponyville after all.
They might. It's not like I know every pony in Ponyville. Cloudkicker hesitated. Well, there might be one other thing. When you described those ponies, you mentioned their cutie marks. Are they... Sorry.
That's all right. I guess I didn't think of it. Let's see. Starburst, balloons, diamonds, and apples.
Apples? That last one's probably the Apple family then. You should try asking Sweet Apple Acres. If she doesn't live there, they'll probably know who she is.
Sweet Apple Acres. Guess that's a start.
Chapter 2. Searching for Answers. For the first time in a while, Fluttershy stood in the main square of Ponyville. Although she was in charge of the weather team for Ponyville, she spent very little time in the town itself. She met with the mayor of Ponyville when she first took the position. Of course, she did her part in the town's winter wrap-up every year. Generally, though, she avoided the ground, preferring to remain in the clouds when she wasn't working. Her hometown may have been bigger than Ponyville, but at least it was familiar. Normally, this would not be a problem for her. But now she found herself in a town that, for all the time she spent flying over it as part of her job, was pretty much unknown to her. She was in a strange place and she was alone. She didn't really know of any pony around here that well. The more she thought about it, the more she realized that, despite several conversations with her, she wasn't sure she could remember the mayor's real name. Even the weather team Pegasus had made their hometown in Ponyville would be busy at work right now. So for all the things that were strained between them, she couldn't even count on them and needed help. She could use some help right now. She began to regret turning down Cloudkicker's offer to accompany her to Sweet Apple Acres. But chastised herself for being so selfish. The clouds they were both responsible for hadn't been cleared yet, and Cloudkicker still needed to get everything ready for her sister's visit. Between the trip to see Rainbow Dash and the planning afterwards, Fluttershy had already taken enough of her friend's time. That wouldn't be right to keep her busy for something like that. While personally important, it wasn't an emergency. Despite her polite refusals, Cloudkicker, no doubt still worried about that close call that morning, insisted at least seeing Fluttershy to the surface, and got her to agree any North City flying. It was that promise that was at the heart of her current problem. Fluttershy realized, after her friend had already departed, she didn't know how to get to Sweet Apple Acres from where she was. Vast fields of apple trees would no doubt be fool's play to spot from 100 feet in the air, but they didn't seem necessary when it wouldn't be that hard to ask some pony. At least it shouldn't be that hard to ask some pony. Fluttershy looked around, trying to decide who to ask. She didn't bother any pony that was busy. She first noticed that a couple of young mares, dressed in hot pink shirts, standing around approached them. She asked them for directions, but the only response she received was an annoying sigh from a headband-wearing blue pony. Her pink friend simply rolled her eyes behind her sunglasses as the two of them turned their backs to her and walked away. Discouraged, Fluttershy looked elsewhere. Another ponies walking by and looked like they might be able to help her.
Excuse me, but I was wondering if it's not too much trouble if...
Before she continued, a third pony charged past, nearly knocking over her. The newcomer was a pink earth pony with a flower in her blonde mane and a look of utter panic on her face.
It's terrible, girls! What's wrong, Lily? Asked the cream-colored pony with the two-tone red mane. I'm sorry, but I'm a good caramel was us in the Everfree Forest yesterday, and now he's cursed! Bet it was that mysterious enchantress! Well, you would only take a minute, I just need...
Well, Fluttershy was not afraid of curses. This one seemed really avoidable by just staying out of the Everfree Forest. Not that she needed another reason to do that. The weather over it didn't work like it was supposed to. Who knew what was lurking beneath those trees? Enchantresses, apparently. The other ponies apparently did not agree with her about the lack of difficulty involved in avoiding the curse. The pastel purple pony shouted, "The horror! The horror!" The all three ran into a nearby building. 3 pairs of eyes soon peeked out from behind the curtains. Fluttershy's ears drooped as she again failed to get any pony paying attention to her. She sung her head and started walking about any direction in mind. After some time, she wasn't sure how long, she heard a voice of asking if some pony was okay. She looked toward the ground and realized the speaker, a cheerful earth pony mare with a dark purple coat and a purple and pink mane, had been talking to her. She explained that she was trying to find Sweet Apple Acres. The airplane gave her directions and then added, "You seem familiar. Aren't you on the weather team?"
Yes.
Fluttershy said, somewhat sheepishly. She was going to mention she was in charge of the team. She didn't have to. I saw you went to wrap up, she said to Huff, cheerily.
I'm Fluttershy.
It's nice to meet you, Fluttershy. I teach at Ponyville Elementary. If you need anything else, you could probably find me here at the library. Shirley gestured to the large tree behind her that some pony must have hollowed out, turned into a building. It's been a couple of years since I had any pony running the place. So, somehow I wound up looking after it. Some pony had to. First I thanked Cheerily for the directions and headed off. Thanks to Cheerily's directions, Fluttershy was easily able to make her way to the entrance of Sweet Apple Acres. The path she was walking on wound into trees until she lost sight of it. The trees, all laden with plump, juicy apples, stretched as far as the eye could see. Fluttershy's mouth watered. When she met the farm's owners and had the chance to ask about that farm pony from other Fluttershy's memories, she had to remember to ask if she could buy a few. It was already past lunchtime. To do that, though, she had to find it first. She saw dozens and dozens of trees, maybe even hundreds, but no ponies. Hoping it led to the tall red barn that stood out in the distance, Fluttershy headed down the path. She walked along in near silence and was broken by the bird song. She could have curled up in the shade of the trees and listened for them to sing for hours. It wasn't often birds made their way as high as Cloudsdale. They usually weren't songbirds. The chance to hear several at once was a rare treat. She forced herself onwards, though. What she was here for was important. She could let anything interfere with that. After a few minutes, her reverie was interrupted by a significantly less melodic sound. From the orchard came a small, high-pitched grunt followed by a thwack! It soon repeated. Grunt! Thwack! Grunt! Thwack! First I looked to the source of the noise. A few trees deep on the south path, a little yellow filly with a big red bow in her mane was standing with her back to the trunk. Around the tree, a few empty wooden buckets were arranged. The filly reared up on her front legs and kicked the trunk to the tree as hard as she could. The tree gave a slight shudder, but nothing happened. She kicked again and again, nothing happened. Frustrated, she backed up and charged at the tree, before leaping to the air, kicking with her right rear leg. She slammed against the tree like this, but only bounced off. For a moment it seemed as once again nothing was going to happen. Before a single apple detached, it fell, bouncing off the filly's head before landing in a waiting bucket.
Oh my goodness, are you alright?
Fluttershy rushed over to check on the filly. The filly sighed.
I'm never gonna be able to help being making toast.
She looked up and realized she hadn't recognized the pony she was talking to.
Welcome to Swinging Apple Blankets. You new in town? I don't think I've ever seen you around here before. Yes, well, no, I mean, sort of. I spend most of my time in Ponyville up in the sky, so I don't really know the town too well. My name's Fluttershy. Nice to meet you, Fluttershy. I'm Apple Bloom. It's nice to meet you too, Apple Bloom. Is there something wrong? If you don't mind me asking, that is. Apple Bloom season's coming. Not like this year, I gotta help my brother so he doesn't have to hire any pony. Maybe I could get you to get my cure too, but he isn't working at all. I'm sorry. But maybe there's something you can help me with?
Apple Bloom's face brightened.
You're part of the Apple family, right? Of course! I'm trying to find some pony. I think they're part of the Apple family too. I was hoping maybe some pony here might know them.
She described the ponies he came out all the way to ask about.
That sounds kind of like Applejack. She's my big sister.
First I couldn't believe her luck. This pony, this Applejack, lived in Ponyville after all? Maybe she was closer to getting some answers than she thought.
Is your sister around? I'd really like to speak with her if that's okay. She doesn't live here. She lived to be a big fancy city pony in Manhattan before I was born.
Apple Bloom paused, thinking.
Since you're looking for my sister, does that mean you know her? What's she like?
First I didn't know her, but she felt she did. Or she should. Of course, she couldn't tell that to some point she just met. Explaining what was going on would just make her sound crazy.
There are a few ponies I need to find because I need their help. I think you might be one of them. I don't know her. I'm sorry. It's alright. You know, you should come talk to Bean Macintosh. He's my brother. He can tell you how to find her. Applejack rides us there all the time.
First I agreed. The two ponies, Mare and Philly, headed off towards the center of the farm. First I noticed Apple Bloom kept glancing to Fluttershy's side, what she assumed was to be subtle. She was not prepared for the son-in-law guess from the younger pony.
Is something wrong, Apple Bloom? You don't have a cutie mark.
Apple Bloom blushed, embarrassed by her outburst.
I'm sorry. My brother says it's worth to go asking ponies about the cutie marks. It says that every pony in my class already has theirs. First, was just me and Twisted Dean. Well, even she's had hers for a while now. Every pony I talk to tells me I'll have to replace it. It's really hard being young. Lee was already tough, but I can't even wait till I'm grown up. I just can't!
More to insult than anything, she asked.
But I don't ever get home.
First, I was sorry to see Philly so upset. Even more so because she had inadvertently been the cause. She remembered when she was Philly. She couldn't understand why she wasn't getting her cutie mark. As the years passed and her flank remained unadored, she came to terms with it. In his own way, being a full-grown mare without one made her just as distinct as any mark could, although a small part of her held out hope she'd finally get one someday. She rarely thought about or noticed cutie marks anymore. It was just as simple, and it was something that she had no control over. She wasn't going to let it affect her life. She wanted to believe that she had never made a big deal about it, as Applebloom was, but that probably wasn't true.
It may seem difficult right now, but you're a hard worker. You'll discover what makes you special.
She could see Applebloom about to eject and pressed on.
And don't worry about having to wait until you're an adult. I know a lot of ponies in Cloudsdale.
She said, which was pretty much a lie, but she felt no pony could hold this against her considering the circumstances.
I don't know any others that grew up without a cutie mark. I really think it's just me. Well, yes, it does to you. This lady was here earlier talking to my brother, and she didn't have one either. And whenever I ask Applejack to tell me how she gets hers, she just ignores the question. Maybe she doesn't have her cutie mark either.
First, I could tell to try and convince her it wasn't going to happen would be a lost cause. Perhaps a different approach would work better.
I know it isn't easy to wait, but having ponies already have their cutie marks, trying to reassure you, probably doesn't help much. Would it help if I told you it's not so bad? It used to bother me when I was Philly, but I'm okay now. I'm happy. You'll get your cutie mark, but until you do, you're no less of a pony for not having one.
Applebloom seemed to give some thought to Fluttershy's words.
It's not just having a cutie mark that's the problem. It's the ponies that keep teasing me for not having one.
It was a feeling Fluttershy understood all too well.
When I was little, other ponies would tease me because I couldn't fly very well. One day I finally got it, and they didn't tease me anymore. A friend helped me back then, and I had something important that I need to take care of. But when I'm done, I'll come back and help you with your special talent.
Applebloom's eyes lit, a seemingly impossibly wide grin spread across her face.
Really? You'll mean it? I promise. Thank you so much, Fluttershy. Maybe I can help you get your cutie mark too.
The two continued the path, a skipping Applebloom leading the way. It wasn't too long before the duo made it to the Center Sweet Apple Acres. Fluttershy had passed the time by listening to Applebloom telling her all about living on the farm with her big brother and Granny. They all seemed like nice ponies. Applebloom assured that he liked her, although she wasn't quite sure what to think about Applebloom's expressed hope that Big Macintosh would really like her. Applebloom had just launched into a story about the famous Zab Apple harvest, when something caught her eyes.
There he is! What's she still doing here?
She leaned in to whisper.
She's the one I was telling you about before.
Fluttershy turned to look and saw a pair of ponies coming out of the farmhouse. The first was a large red stallion wearing a plow collar around his neck. Outside the princess herself, he was the largest pony she had ever seen. Beside him walked a color of pink in the form of a pony. Her coat was pink, her long straight mane was hung over her left shoulder was pink. Even the sharply tailored business suit she was wearing was a bright, cheerful pink. Fluttershy considered the patient sitting on the table before her.
You'll be fine. It's only an upset tummy from so much excitement. Just try to be fully overstimulated for the next few days.
The receptivity of this advice gave no indication of having overheard or even understood the pony giving it. He simply sat there and blinked, first with one eye then the other. Instead, a response came from her bouncing pink pony.
You hear that coming? You need to take it easy for a few days.
She paused, still waiting for an answer from the alligator.
I know. I don't know what I couldn't do if I couldn't do anything exciting for a couple of days. But you know what'll cheer you up? When you're feeling better, I'm going to throw you a bone!
Pinkie Pie caught a glance from Fluttershy, just sense that the latter didn't think it was a very good idea.
A small bone?
After determining her satisfaction, Gummy was content. Pinkie turned to her friend.
Thank you so much for coming over, Fluttershy. When Gummy wasn't used to useful energetic self this morning, I got so worried. I guess he just couldn't handle 2 parties in 2 days. He's only 1 year and 2 days old. It's pretty young for an alligator. Maybe I was just being silly.
The other pony's face fell.
I was silly a lot yesterday.
Fluttershy couldn't remember seeing seen her friend sound like this. She certainly seen her angry. They all had yesterday, when Pinkie had thought she were abandoning her. But she looked like she was about to cry.
Pinky, is this about the surprise party? I'm sorry we made you worried. We should have... No, it's not like you girls at all. I'm lucky to have friends like you. She smiled. Well, I'm not very proud like that. Everybody was planning a surprise party for you, and I assumed the worst. Even more of that. You promise you won't tell anybody?
Fluttershy agreed, and recited a rhyme Pinky had created, idly wondering about the part of Hold to Fly was supposed to mean to some pony with legs. Pinky told her all about the party she had at Sugar Cube Corner the day before, and Rocky and Madame LaFlower and Rainbow Dash dragging her all the way across Ponyville by her tail. When she had finished, she was surprised to see her Pegasus friend reaching forward to embrace her.
Everybody's done their embarrassing things, Fluttershy, Pinky,
Fluttershy said, thinking of her own behavior when the princess had asked the six of them to talk to that sleeping dragon. Though it all worked out, there were parts she didn't like remembering. She nearly ruined everything.
But we're your friends. We understand.
Thanks. Pinky returned the embrace, and two ponies hugged, while Gummy sat there, blinking his peculiar way. Fluttershy recovered from the last appearance of Fluttershy's other memories. Applebloom was by the side of the stallion, presumably being Macintosh. Excited telling him all about her new friend, and how she was going to help him get her cutie mark. The pink pony approached Fluttershy, smiling.
Hello!
She stuck out a huff. Fluttershy reciprocated. This was one of the ponies she was trying to find. She was being so friendly. Could it really be so simple?
My name is Think of Me a Pie. A pie fairly stocks, rocks, and stones.
The pink pony said, vigorously shaking her hoof. Fluttershy wasn't sure what to make of this new pony, or why other Fluttershy seemed no different. She had a feeling that Pink and Mia was expecting something of her.
Oh, I'm Fluttershy. A pleasure to meet you, Fluttershy. Can I ask you a question?
She didn't wait for a response.
I guess that needs being met.
Since he had decided on a course of action, Fluttershy had been trying to figure out what she should say when she found the pony she was looking for. Nothing had come out so far had been really any good, but even the plans were still plans. Never cover a situation like this one. What was she talking about?
Well, I don't really wear gems.
Fancy jewelry was the kind of thing popular amongst ponies in her parents' social circle. But that was never the kind of life she wanted. Besides, fancy gems tended to draw attention to the pony wearing them. Fluttershy really preferred attention to be drawn somewhere else.
With the pie family, every rock's a gem. But not literally, we sell them normal ones too. That's our new slogan. Anyway, what do you think? It's nice. Thanks. I came along myself. I got the second part because my sister says she thought it might be confusing otherwise. Here, take a look at our products.
With this, she pulled out a catalog from, well, Fluttershy couldn't see exactly where she pulled it from. But she had no time to think about that, as Pink and Mia flipped through the pages, showing out the many different kinds of rocks they had for sale. Fluttershy never thought about the rocks that come in so many varieties. Never really thought about rocks much at all. Only gemstones she could wear came out their way to Cloudsdale. Suddenly realized he had stopped listening to the Seal Pony's incessant list of rocks somewhere, rather than sketch it on a traveler's size of sandstone. Largely, Pink and Mia didn't appear to notice.
Cobblestones, peony stones, and bricks, and just as gems. I know you say you don't wear them, but when you take a look at these babies, I think you might change your mind.
Fluttershy decided it would be a good time to interrupt to avoid another terminal list.
Pinky?
The pink pony gave her an odd look.
Pinkamina. Sorry, Pinkamina. I'm sure your gems are very nice, but I really don't like being the center of attention. I also live in Cloudsdale. We don't build with rocks. We build with clouds. Rocks would just fall, so I really don't need any rocks. I'm sorry.
Pink and Mia was unfazed.
Okay, but you're changing your mind. Here's my card.
Suddenly, she held a small piece of paper. Where was he keeping these things? I gave it to Fluttershy.
You keep the catalog, too.
She thanked Pink Macintosh for his order before running away.
Whee!
Cried Fluttershy, and faced the possibility of some point walking away before she had a chance to bring up the reasons she was looking for them. Pink and Mia was back at her side faster as she thought equally possible.
Change your mind? They're just simply too tempting to pass up, aren't they? And you also make excellent gifts. That isn't it.
She better try something quick. Pink and Mia was likely to stick around when they found out that she wasn't interested in buying rocks.
Do you know me, Pinkamina?
She thought for a moment.
Sorry, can't remember all my customers, and I never sold anything to you. Actually, I didn't mean as a customer. I meant as a friend. No, never met you before. I'm sure of it.
First I thought she saw a flicker of sadness in Steel Pony's eyes, but her smile never wavered.
Unfortunately, I got other appointments to get to, but you need any rocks, you know where to find me.
Fluttershy watched as her last hope at some kind of explanation went down the path to town. She noticed that Pink and Mia turned to Applebloom had been mistaken. Pink and Mia really didn't have a cutie mark.
Excuse me, Miss Fluttershy?
She turned to see the red stallion dressed in her.
Evelyn's been telling me about how you offered to help her. That's awful nice of you. Would you like to stay for lunch?